Hello, everyone, and welcome to my channel. Welcome to this Throne Room Tuesday, where normally I put something in the throne room, soliciting your prayers. And so today, I'm going to be putting something in the throne room, soliciting your prayer. So stand by so you can see exactly what that is. All right, so you know that we were on a series which was entitled The 90-Day Destiny Transformation, where we were starving our past and our history and embracing the life Christ died for us to have, and also the one he sanctified and ordained us for prior to creating us. So that is all done. And so I wanted to try to basically take a week to elaborate on loving ourselves. You know, one thing that I have learned that has been really helpful in this journey of being all that God would have me to be is that God has a ranking, you can say. And so basically, in that ranking, we have God the Father and others, loving God supremely with all our hearts, minds, souls, strength, body, everything, and others as we love ourselves. And so I just wanted to basically spend some time, like a whole week, talking about loving ourselves. And so stay with me because I'm going to tell you why that's important to me. Okay. All right, for those of you who do not know, my name is Sheila Rollins, and I am the founder of H.U.L.A Ministries, Entertainment and Associates Inc. And on this YouTube, we are Overcomers Anonymous, where we support anyone desiring to overcome anything. We do it with Jesus Christ being our higher power, and also what He's accomplished for us on the cross. Therefore, our cleanliness, our wholeness, our completeness, our forgiveness, the things that we thought were impossible becomes possible with Jesus Christ being our higher power and what He's accomplished for us on the cross. So the reason why this is important is because remember that the destiny transformation, that was all about me. And I have now I have set myself back 2 weeks in finishing up my house because I had another situation that come up, and it's something that I have to really take care of myself for emotionally, mentally, and that kind of stuff. So I've decided to take another week. So in 2 weeks, I should have the downstairs part of my house finished, including hopefully the nonprofit headquarters as well. So why it's important for us to talk about be invested in loving ourselves. Not just because God says so, but that too. But for me, I was raised during a time where I was taught to love others before myself rather than myself. And sometimes when we get into tradition or we're taught tradition, sometimes it has a way of like some words are familiar because basically the admonition for that, the command for loving ourselves, it comes from God. And it says basically that we are to love others as we love ourselves. In other words, we are to mimic the love that we bestow on ourselves. We're supposed to love each other people in the same way. And so the way that I was taught to love others and not myself rather than myself, um, not including myself, left me basically with no time after loving others because it was always more others. It seems to be more others than it is me, just one person. And so I'm loving and loving and loving others. And basically, I found myself doing that on empty a lot of times because I didn't have anybody to pour into me, to rub my feet, rub my back, run some hot bath water for me and all those good things. So I found myself basically depleted. And so basically today I want to introduce this series and ask that you would pray that we would make loving ourselves a priority, and that we would favor ourselves. You know, a lot of times when we think of favor, we think about like a blessing that we don't deserve. You know, you think about like somebody going against the grain or going against the rules and giving us a blessing. And so while that feels wonderful, especially like to do that for somebody else, my idea with doing this week-long study about loving ourselves is exactly that. For us to give ourselves love, affection, and attention, despite whether we think we deserve it, whether we need it, whether we want it, whatever the situation is, but to give love for ourselves. Okay, so remember, we do what we do because of Jesus Christ being our higher power and what he's accomplished for us on the cross. And so for us to get all that he's offering, we must be obedient to his word. And I encourage the King James Version because it's what he encouraged me when I asked him. And also the 10 Commandments, where he admonishes us in the 4th commandment to keep the 7th-day Sabbath. These things are binding on us for eternal life. So the arrow next to the title is a description. So check out that information all in there. And also in the description will be my contact information if you're interested in trying those delicious vegan meat alternative size non-dairy ice cream and other desserts. Woo! Delicious, delicious. And I'm not lying, okay? I'm such a critic of myself. But yes, very delicious. Reasonably priced. You know, veganism has a good rep. You know, it helps us to overcome some sicknesses. It prevents others, helps us to hold on to those good genes, and also to embrace longevity. So you gotta try it out. So okay, so um it's been a journey. You know, the destiny transformation has been really, really helpful. So now I'm looking forward in going into this whole thing of loving ourselves, basically to like even up the score. Because the way I look at it is that I've been loving other people and loving and loving and loving other people. I've loved children. I love my own children. Before that, I had nieces and nephews. I was loving them before I had my children. Then there was some more nieces and nephews. And then it was love nieces and nephews and cousins and their children. And it just seemed like I got further and further placed on the back end. Now, to some of you, this may sound selfish, to take some time to give ourselves some time to pour into ourselves, to take care of ourselves, do our nails and, do a nice job on our teeth and do our hair really good, whatever, soak our feet or whatever, but to do something to take care of ourselves. Say no where we would otherwise say yes, just something to take care of ourselves. So, okay. Check out my other YouTube, the playlist. I think I said that already about the playlist. But anyhow, comment. I would love to hear from you. Okay. You can ask a question. You can drop a title if you want on anything that you might want me to research and present. Okay. You can tell me if you agree with the YouTube or not. You can add to it, maybe some different things that we could do regarding loving ourselves that will make the series more than just a week long. Whatever it is, I'm open to it. At the very least, say hello to me. Say hello. If you're looking at my videos, say hello to me, okay? I'm not going to ask no question. I'm just going to say hello back. How you doing? I hope your life is going well and all that good stuff. And so, okay, so normally on Monday, it's a time where I really like give myself a timeout and kind of focusing on some things to rejuvenate myself, like a relaxed kind of day. And so we started on a Tuesday, so we're more than likely end on a Tuesday. And so on a Tuesday, again, I would be, we'll be finished on a Tuesday. But let's go for tomorrow. Tomorrow we deal with like the hard stuff. And so that may be like the whys and the why not of loving ourselves. Like basically like what prevented us from loving ourselves and why it's important to love ourselves and what we're doing to love ourselves and how we loving ourselves. We'll probably deal with that tomorrow. And then on Thursday, that's Relationship Thursday. So we'll talk about basically keeping it in with the theme of the day, relationships. Like, doing the hard things in relationships. Well, the hard stuff is usually Wednesday, so we can deal with like the hard stuff in loving ourselves on Wednesday. But then on Thursday, you know, um, I want to deal with like relationship and specifically male and female relationships and loving ourselves as it relates to the male and female relationship. And then on Friday, we usually surrender something. Okay. And you all can guess. You can probably guess what you think it is that we will be surrendering. So down below on the in the comment section, comment on what you think that we should be surrendering on Friday. And then on Saturday, we'll discuss probably the admonition of God for us to love ourselves. And I am one that really believes that Jesus loved himself. And I would even venture in to say that he loved himself as he loved us, or he loved us as he loved himself. And the reason why I say that, when I think about the whole thing about the cross. Now, remember, Jesus came to this earth wrapped in human form, skin, flesh, blood, like us. And not only that, while we may have the bloodline, the sin line, or whatever, curses and all from other family members in our bloodline that is related to us, Christ had the sins of the world on him. Okay, which meant that when he cried out on that cross, when he said in a Hebrew tongue, and I can't say that part, but it meant, my God, why have thou forsaken me? The sin of the whole world had separated him from God. And that's what sin has a way of doing, separating us from God. But my point is this: Jesus was a human. And in keeping with the theme of loving ourselves or loving others as we love ourselves, like I said, Jesus loved himself or loved us as he loved himself. Because check this in. Had Jesus had a change of heart, a change of mind at any given moment and decide that he would not come down, that he would come down off that cross, guess what? Whether he had ever sinned before or not, at that point, he was a human like us. And so he had the sins of the world on him. He would have been lost. Don't throw nothing at me. Don't. The reason why I say that is because it is. That's something that I assume. That's my own personal ideal about that. The whole thing of Jesus telling us to love others as we love ourselves, that he doesn't tell us to do something that he's not already doing. That's the thing. He's not telling us to do that. He's not that kind of God. And so yeah, so I just believe, now that may be something that we would have to ask him when we all gathered around the throne, you know what I'm saying? And, spending some time with God and Jesus, and we may be able to ask him that. But anyhow, that's my story, and I'm sticking to it, that I believe that, first of all, Jesus came here to die. So if he decided at any moment that he was not going to die, he would have been forever disconnected from God our Father. Okay, let that sink in. Let that sink in. He would have ever been, separated, because the wages of sin is death. If he chose not to die, he would have rightfully been being disobedient to God. See? So now you agree with me, right? So, okay, that's all I have for you. Okay, so looking forward to being with you. Please be with me on the days to come as we discuss for a whole week about love on different days of the week, as we just address the days of the week. So, okay, so I love you. This is all I have for you now. And to him that is able to keep you from falling and to present you faultless before the presence of his glory with exceeding joy. To the only wise God, our Savior, be glory and majesty, dominion and power both now and ever. I love you. See you in the next YouTube.